Using when to travel through time, Decades Edition. Hello language learners. Welcome back to our series on non-defining relative clauses. Today, we're going to focus on using when for periods of time, specifically for decades. This can be a bit tricky, but it's a fantastic way to talk about history, personal memories, and changes over time. So, let's get started. Before we dive into the main topic, let's have a quick recap. Non-defining relative clauses are clauses that provide extra information about something we have already identified. They use a relative pronoun like who, which, or when. However, they do not define the noun they refer to. Instead, they add additional details. These clauses are often set off by commas or parentheses in a sentence. When is a relative pronoun we use to refer to times or periods of time. In non-defining relative clauses, when can provide additional information about a certain time period that we've already mentioned. For example, consider this sentence. I fondly remember the 1990s, when I was in high school. In this sentence, when I was in high school, is the non-defining relative clause, adding extra details about the 1990s, which is already identified. So, how do we use when to talk about decades? It's simple. We use the decade as the subject of our sentence, and then add the clause starting with when to provide additional details. Here are some examples. The 1980s, when pop music really took off, were an exciting time for culture. She often talks about the 1970s, when she lived in New York. Notice how these non-defining relative clauses add color and context to the time periods we're discussing. They allow us to share more about what was happening during those decades, whether it's a historical event, personal memories, or societal changes. And that's it. You now know how to use when in non-defining relative clauses to discuss decades. It's a simple but effective tool to make your English more descriptive and engaging. We hope this video has been helpful. Remember to practice using when in your own sentences about different decades, and you'll become a master in no time. Keep learning, and we'll see you in the next video.